I'm so excited for this next conversation. It's a topic that has my complete buy-in. This time of year can seem, crazy and chaotic, but my next guest encourages women to recognize what a powerful and productive time of year these months can be. Professional organizer Jenny Layton calls mid-August through October a woman's power season. Don't you love that? It's our power season, a time to harness your inner strength and really make things happen. So whether you've been wanting to tackle a new house project or start maybe on your own health journey, right now, she says, is the perfect opportunity to set goals that took a back seat during the summer break. Jenny joining me with a pep talk to make the most of your power season. Good to have you, sister.
Hi.
You've coined this, and I love this. Define power season.
Well, I call it a personal season. We have family seasons and personal seasons. If we can start looking at the year in that way, it really changes everything.
And do you find most of women's lives in certain chapters, in the chunky core chapters, fall into family season?
Well, I think they definitely can, especially while you have little kids at home. But I think the purpose of this conversation today is to recognize there is a difference between the two, and we really need to give good time to both. So I'm hoping that today women can get really excited about the personal season that's coming up.
I've joked, I like power season a lot better, but I've joked for years it's like the new year. It's the real new year for women. And you're feeling that momentum, you're feeling that motivation. So you're gonna help us ride it. How do we power up? First you say we've gotta get clear.
We need to get clear on why this season is so important. So we've had this conversation before on the show about family and personal seasons, but just for a quick review, a family season is when a lot of the attention, the extra attention, goes to the family. So we're finishing one up right now with summer. The holidays is a great example, having a new baby. Those are times where we just need to give the family extra attention.
Accept it and pour it forward.
Right, and just be okay with it. But when the kids go back to school or the holidays are over or you settle in from having a baby, what's the natural thing you want to do? You want to get the house put back together. You want to get focused more on some personal things that you have taken that back seat, like you mentioned. That's the personal season, and that's what's happening right now. It's the perfect time for it. When we understand that that's what this time is, then we can really just give ourselves to this time without feeling guilty. So often women just feel so bad when they focus on themselves, but this is the time where we need to fill up that personal reservoir. You know, our Utah mountain reservoirs collect water during the wet seasons to sustain us during the dry seasons. But man, at the end of the dry season, those reservoirs are low, and I think we're all feeling that right now. So it's time to replenish and get balanced and fulfilled.
Are there certain types of goals under the umbrella of personal season that you find women really benefit from, like charging at or going for when it comes to that personal progression or growth?
Well, I think there's some common ones. You know, organizing your house, getting things, projects, decorating, those types of things. I'm so ready for the organizing side. I know. That's really the first place to start, I think. If you work, getting caught back up on work can be a really big one. But I do think that it can be anything that you're craving. So you just kind of ask yourself, what is it that you really want? What would make a big difference to you if you want to start playing pickleball, if you want to do watercolor again, if you want to reconnect with friends? That's what your personal season gets to look like.
We get clear and then we get focused.
And that's kind of what we were just talking about. Get focused on what it is you want. And this is an interesting conversation because a lot of times we just think about, well, what do I have to do? You know, I have to work, I have to take care of the kids, drive carpool. But this question is, well, what do you want to do? You know, like if I could wave a magic wand and your life could look like anything you want it to look like, what would you say?
What do you say, Jenny, to women or clients who say, I don't know?
Well, that's that magic wand, and it kind of takes a little time to draw it out of them because they think a lot about, well, that's not very realistic, or I could never. But I really tell them your desires are seeds of potential, and if it's something that occurs to you, like I'm not going to say, I want to go be a bodybuilder this fall. That's not something for me, right? But someone out there is thinking that, and so you really follow that.
So we wave the magic wand to help kind of crystallize the dream, and then we really get moving, we get specific.
Yeah, so the next step is to get specific, and I don't want you to think about the whole thing. Like, what is this all gonna look like? How do I accomplish all of this? Because that's overwhelming, and we don't know the end from the beginning a lot. So what is that first step? And I think this is where, like, rubber meets the road. This is a great conversation, but let's, like, walk the walk. I would love anyone listening today to come away with a clear action step of what I'm going to do to start this fall so that this really materializes for you.
Can you give us some examples of those clear action
Oh,
steps?
absolutely. Like put a date on the calendar of when you're going to start cleaning out the basement.
A date?
Or, yes, a date on your calendar, or call the doctor. Get an appointment to go get your blood work done to start on your health journey, or like order the watercolors or the pickleball paddle. You know, take that first step. And then as soon as you do, be ready to take that next one.
I know we're talking about specificity. Is there room for flexibility? Like, I'm going to try this, or I'm going to be open to the process?
Well, definitely. I think that's the fourth thing I want to talk about today, is to just get realistic about what it's really going to look like. So at my company, we talk about done is better than perfect. That is our motto.
I love that.
Yeah. Perfectionism really is what the thief of, no, what is it? Anyway.
The thief of joy.
Something like, I think that's comparison, but anyway.
Oh, it could be perfectionism
it's just
too.
bad, you guys.
I
Just
think
don't do
is that
it.
Camilla Kimball or Eleanor Roosevelt? Either way, we've tweaked your words.
It just keeps you from getting things done.
Yeah.
And so just don't think that the diet has to be perfect, or the house has to look perfect, or there has to be this perfect start time, or this perfect window or schedule to accommodate what you want to do. I say just don't be held captive to that. Don't have those unrealistic standards, because perfect is what derails us from getting things done.
Done is better. I often think of the word doneness. I don't know if that is a word, but when you're trying to execute a task or get something done, it's like, I want to hit a finish point, not a finish line, but I want to accomplish something that feels like a check.
Yeah. I had a client say done is fun, and I'm like, it is.
Done is fun.
You can check it off your list and move on. Otherwise, you're just like held hostage to this idea of what it's supposed to look like.
Are there certain kinds of goals you think we get stuck on in that perfectionistic pursuit? Like, I think of diet can be one, like the way we eat or the way we work out for women.
Yeah.
It's like an all or nothing.
I think image and body is a big one.
Yeah.
I think home is a big one too. You know, I work with a lot of clients, and I don't organize for them. I coach them on how to organize personally. And we have to work through sometimes the expectations that it's going to look like what we see on the media, you know, so anything on Instagram or Pinterest, like we need to let those things go and just recognize what is good enough for me, what is done enough for me, because there's so much more to life. I love this conversation that we're talking about, but we don't want to become imbalanced in this, right? So we'll give it adequate time and let it bless our lives, and then move on to, we still need to take care of our families.
Yes,
you know, that doesn't go away.
Thank you for this pep talk. It was so appropriately aligned, and it does celebrate the wave that we're feeling right now, that momentum. So power season,
fun.
Jenny helping us do it. How can people work with you?
Well, I would love to help anyone personally through this. So I have openings in my schedule this fall. So you can find me at JL the Happy Gal on Instagram or Facebook, or email me at hello@thehappygal. It's just great to have someone hold your hand through this and give you guidance and accountability. So it's just, I would love to see everyone have a fantastic personal season that they can look back on and be ready for the holidays. I mean, I hate to say it, we're gonna blink and another family season will be here. So really right now is the time.
Is the time. We'll link you over to her website so you can take advantage of that. I so resonate with what you've said, Jenny. Thank you so much. Go to our website as that additional resource zone where you can find the links and even review the conversations that you've seen here on Studio 5. We'll remind you it's studio5.ksl.com. We humbly hope it's a valuable bookmark in your cache.